everybody. Welcome back to Kelly's True North Tarot. Hope everybody's doing well. It is Monday, April the 21st. It's about 2:30ish Eastern time. And Lori Vallow Daybell is on trial in Arizona for she's been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree murder, and they are about to give their closing arguments, and so I wanted to do a reading on how that's going to go, the deliberation, the verdict, all of the things. Not really sure how I'm going to do this. This case is so messy and has so many components. Literally, I feel like I need, like a murder board to be able to, connect all the dots, all the pieces, all the people that are involved. But we've got some cards here, and so let's sort of just dive right in. This is the House of the Wisdom of Night Oracle. This is the Inversion Tarot, and this is my Kipper deck. I want to start over here. So, just to give you some background, Lori Vallow Daybell has already been convicted of murdering her two minor children, as well as her current husband's wife. And she is serving 3 life sentences. This trial in Arizona. She is charged, as I said, with conspiracy to commit murder. And this is for her, at that time, husband, Charles Vallow. After Charles Vallow passed, her new husband, his wife passed, which they have both been convicted of that murder. Her current husband, is on death row for the murders of her 2 minor children and his wife. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So, as I talk, I'm going to shuffle. And let's just see. What an interesting card to pop up. Can you see that? It's like a ghostly image, and it says fragment. I mean, really, fragment. There are so many moving parts to this, and so many people, victims that have been touched in one way or multiple ways, as these lines seem to cross back and forth with this case. So, as I said, she is on trial currently in Arizona, and there's still another trial yet to come for another conspiracy to commit attempted murder. This is for the death of her then current husband, Charles Vallow. As I said, at the time, her brother, Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, claimed to shoot Charles Vallow in self-defense. We have understanding. And so the state has brought charges that there was a conspiracy to commit this murder of Charles Vallow because Lori and Chad were having an affair. And of course, they needed Charles out of the way. and for them, to be together. And he had a $1 million life insurance policy, and she was the beneficiary, but Charles was feeling some sort of way and changed the beneficiary unbeknownst to Lori Vallow. We have fledging. Now, what's interesting is that Lori has never taken responsibility for any of the actions that she has done. She has never said that she is accountable in any way. She calls this whole course of events a family tragedy. Lori is representing herself in this trial, which adds just a really interesting element. And I think, this is just my opinion, the reason that it adds such an interesting element is because other than a statement that was read at her trial, nobody's really ever heard from Lori as to, how she feels, what's going on, what really happened, etc., etc., etc. She's remained pretty tight-lipped about the whole thing. Since this trial in Arizona has come about, she has done a lot of media interviews. There is a Netflix, or was a Netflix docuseries that was playing. And, do you see that, child? And so she started to talk more. And so people, I think the general public, and especially the family and the victims' families, were hoping that she was going to, testify, present a defense, something, say something in terms of, her part in all of this. Now, on Wednesday, last week, the state rested their case. The judge looked over to Lori, because she's representing herself at the defense table, and said, are you planning on putting on a defense? And she read off a blurb, legal talk, saying that she didn't think that the state met their burden of proof, or their burden of proof, and that she is going to rest. And then he sort of said, and I'm summarizing this isn't obviously verbatim, then he said, you can't really change your mind. And she was like, well, okay, I'll think about it, kind of thing. So then the next day, the jury was, on Thursday, the jury was told not to come back. And they came in to go over jury instructions. Once again, the judge asked her, are you going to rest? And she's like, like she's still thinking about it. You have to rest your case in the presence of the jury. The jury has to hear her say that she rests her case. And also, you want that on the record for any kind of, legal reasons with regards to the trial, right? So they went through the jury instructions, everybody went home for the Easter weekend, and then we come back today, and they've got the jury instructions in front of them. They're going over them because they made changes to them on Thursday, and judge says to Lori, are you resting? And she says yes. They go through the jury instructions. The jury has now been brought in. The judge asked Lori to basically state in front of the jury's presence that she is resting her case. Now he's gone through the jury instructions with the jury. He has sent everyone away for lunch. When they come back from lunch, which is probably like in an hour from now, Eastern time, the closing statements will be read. So the state can do their closing arguments, and then Lori will give the closing arguments. Now, nobody has an idea what she's going to say, obviously. She has done an okay job in, according to the legal sort of community here on YouTube, the different lawyers saying that she's done an okay job for, generally speaking, for the most part, representing herself. But then other times she's kind of got lost in the weeds. And so, have no idea how that closing arguments session is going to go. What's important to note, though, and this is interesting that I've got these cards, right? Expectation, child, adjudication, and marriage. What's interesting to note is that the jury does not know that she has been previously convicted of the murder of her children, that she is currently serving 3 life sentences. She, throughout this trial, referred to Charles Vallow as my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, even though she is married to a new husband. So, again, very confusing to, keep all the facts straight. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on that jury, right? I would not want to be on that jury. Is there anything else you want to tell us, Spirit, with regards to how the jury is feeling? We've got wealthy man. And that's an interesting card that's popped out, wealthy man. Because I feel like the picture that's been painted for the jury is that, she had this great life and then all of a sudden she didn't, and she went after his money, right? That's the thing. There was a witness that testified. So this was a person that Charles Vallow had met online, like on a dating app or whatever, and they had a date. Can you imagine, friends? The night before he was murdered, with plans to meet up later on the day that he was murdered. And she had talked to him through, phone calls and text prior to the meetup. But on the meetup, he shared so much of his life with her. What Lori was doing, how he was concerned about her. The fact that he switched the beneficiary of his life insurance policy. So that came out in court, and Lori was very, I'm going to say, confrontational in that questioning of that witness. And one of the things that the witness kept saying was that Charles was saying that they were separated, that they were on the precipice of getting a divorce. And Lori kept shooting back, saying there was nothing wrong with our marriage. We were fine. We weren't separating. We weren't getting divorced. Later on in testimony, it came out that she was having an affair. And that is why, and Charles knew about it, and that is why Charles wanted a divorce. So these cards are lining up for me that the jury sees this situation as the state has laid it out, right? So, in my personal opinion, before I throw these cards, I think that, now, of course, every jury is different, every jurisdiction is different, every judge, courtroom is different, right? In terms of how long are they allowed to deliberate? Is he going to say, the judge on this case, is he going to say, like, you have till 6 p.m. and if you can't reach a verdict, then go home? Like, I don't know those instructions. I don't know what he's going to say to them, nor do I know what they're going to say back when they're asked. I've seen some cases where the jury is like, "Yep, no, we are working. We're not going home until we reach a verdict," right? So that part aside, I think that a verdict is going to be reached fairly quickly if the jury is allowed to deliberate. Once they get, the okay to start the deliberation process, I believe that the verdict is going to come in fairly quickly. And when I say that, I mean, like, if they are allowed to deliberate, say they go back to the deliberation room at, like, say 3 p.m. I believe that, by 7 p.m. they would have a verdict. But again, because of the different jurisdictions and whatever the judge's instructions are, I don't know, like, in what form that comes. Let's throw some tarot and see what spirit can allow us to know, what spirit wants us to know about the jury's verdict. Okay, so we've had a card flip over inside the deck, and we've got the King of Cups. That's an interesting card. There's compassion there for the situation. I also think that, now this jury is made up of 10 men and 2 women, and there are alternates, but ultimately they will choose who goes into the deliberation room. Only 12, right? So we've got the King of Cups that has come out, the Two of Cups, and the World. And on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Three of Pentacles. So I think that they see this as a clear-cut case of conspiracy to commit murder based on the fact, I want the life insurance, I want to be with this other person. The jury sees it that way. This is a relationship, emotions, right? The World, end of a cycle. Three of Pentacles, working in collaboration with other people. I believe that the jury is going to find Lori Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. We shall see if I am correct or not. And as a footnote, I will mention that her next trial starts the end of May, jury selection. The trial will take place starting the first 2 weeks in June in that same courtroom, or with that same judge in Arizona. This is for conspiracy to commit attempted murder. That person is still alive, and that person, I'm sure, will be called to testify. That case is going to be wild. Once again, Lori will be representing herself, or at least that's how it's looking at this moment. the path of destruction for the family members of Lori Vallow, Daybell, and her current husband, Chad Daybell, is just astounding. So many people have been affected and traumatized and have had their life turned upside down, ripped apart. It's tragic set of circumstances for so many people. And at the end of the day, we hope that justice is served and that the people, the families, the victims find a bit of peace at the end of all of this. So thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below, and we will continue to watch this case. Have yourselves a great day, and until I see you again, I wish you many, many blessings. Mwah. Bye for now.